Welcome to my study. I have chosen to start doing a small series of little dives into some of the books that I own and what I like about them, what they mean to hairdressing history, things of that nature. So today we are going to be focusing on Miss Ingerid. I have an original right here. This is the Alphabet of Curls, specifically the triangle curls. And you can see that this is actually a school text from her beauty college in New York. She, get a little close up of her face. She's looking pretty fabulous right there. Some of her other pictures are a little different, as she has it here labeled Ingerid, an outstanding woman hairstylist, brilliant teacher, platform artist, TV and radio personality, technician, lecturer, and author. She has a whole number of books. This is my only original. I have, also I have a copy of the How to Handle Long Hair and Long Hair Part 2, or Book 2, that I also, these are not originals like my other, but it is still, in this case, Ingerid. These copies come from an Etsy shop called Schmetterlingtag. And Schmetterlingtag means butterfly day, which I kind of think is lovely. But I was just going to talk about how these were produced to be really thorough teaching guides. So everything she starts with are doing it on the block. So that means we start with, so we have lesson 1, doubles on the block clockwise. And so what we're doing is literally coming in and practicing with a swatch attached to a wig block. So you can see here, attached to a wig block. And it's she's very serious about what she is trying to do, and that you generally need to practice well enough so that you can see what you're doing. And you need to practice well enough that you can do a certain amount of work, a certain amount of curls in a very short amount of time. So then it talks about mistakes. They talk about how to avoid mistakes in pinning so that you don't end up ruining the style or ruining the base curl before the style. And it says the tension is placed on only one pin. That's the 1 o'clock pin. So she uses clock positions to sort things, and then talks about the curls not being uniform. And the idea is that as you continue, you will get so good that you get the practicing with the practicing. So we have from lesson 1 in Alphabet of Curls, the triangle curls. She says, keep practicing slowly until you know all the movements are right, which is very important, I think. Now start cutting down on the number of curls. If you've been making 10 doubles in a row, make only 9 the next time, then 8, etc. Because you will find that you have to adjust your technique slightly when you make fewer curls. I think it will take you about 3 hours to read, understand, and practice this lesson enough times so you can do a beautiful row of doubles. And the reason they're doubles is because they kind of double up to make a double wave. Finally, do 1 row of doubles at your normal speed to see how long it takes you. Then you should practice on the block until you can do at least 7 curls a minute, which means that you're doing a curl every, give or take, 9 seconds. You don't have to attain this speed before you start doubles on the mannequin, but when you have spare time, get the block out and work toward that goal. The longer you can work on this much material before going on to the next lesson, the better it is for you. So she's very thorough in her teaching. She wants each thing to be mastered before you move on. And I love that she has these beautiful, it's a very interesting doll head, but a lovely one that you can practice on until you really have things set to rights, and then you can work on making this kind of a style. Still weirder. Doll doesn't have eyeballs, but that's fine. And then talking about detailed information, talking texture of the hair, amount of hair, length of hair, and facial contour, which is very important and should still be taken into account when we are doing styling for people. Anyways, and because these are all considered the triangle curls, that they're talking about the base, and the base is the triangular portion. That's how that is functioning. And it is, you know, quite a lovely approach. I really like her no-nonsense approach to styling. There is a portion in, I believe it is in How to Handle Long Hair. So this is a reproduction, 11 styles, 1 setting by Ingrid. And I'm not entirely certain, as this is a repro. I don't know if the original pictures were quite so, I don't want to say pixelated, but if they were that rough to begin with. But this is all showing the, she does, well, she does 11 styles with 1 set. So it says here from her, it is my belief that if you master only 3 styles on long hair, you will have a bag of tricks and an ability to handle long hair that will put you head and shoulders above any other stylist. This is the first of the styles. Turn to the next page. First comb out. So you can see, like, we get here to this lovely style off of the setting in here. And I was trying to see if I can find, there's a very cute and funny, here we go. So we're talking about this style here that she has named Tiara. And she's talking about how to secure the hair in the French twist style. So it says, step 2, twist the hair. This is the 3rd important technique or trick in handling long hair. Most hairdressers will comb the back hair up, put in a comb on one side, comb the rest of the back hair, which is already fallen down, up, put in a comb, and with all this work, they still find the hair is not under control. With this twist, all the hair is under control at one point. You will use it not only for the tiara comb out, but for many upsweeps. That'll cost you $50, please. See to it that when you finish the twist, your thumb is resting on the head. So I just think it is fabulous. And then showing how you would use a grip tooth comb, which is still sold to this day. So it's at the end of this particular section, she writes out, this twist is, I call, one of the $50 tricks. I've had school owners, shop owners, operators who have told me that just this one trick alone has been worth a great deal of money to them. At shows and demonstrations, hairdressers are amazed at the control you have when the hair is twisted before the grip tooth comb is used. So mark it well. And I just find that absolutely delightful that, you know, that she has, even in 1954, she's talking about how your skill set will set you apart. And considering, I'm trying to think how much that would be, $50 in today's money. I'm doing some quick math in my head, which is not going to work. Let's see, 3,400, so 50, probably, I mean, that feels like it might actually be, can't do, I'll see if I can find out, and I'll put it on the screen somewhere to show like what she's basically saying is, you know, hey, I have this comb, I'm going to do your hair up in this updo, and it's going to be so secure, you don't have to worry about it falling down. Your hair is going to stay all day, possibly on into the next day, maybe a couple days. So it's really fascinating to see how thorough she is and how much she's like, oh no, you're gonna, you know, charge for the work you're doing. And then this one is 1957, and it is, you know, long hair, book 2, talking about a basic French twist, which is an interesting take on it. Certainly not the way I might have chosen to do it, but still lovely. And she shows examples on both the mannequin head and on a real person, which is nice to see. And I like that she has very thorough instruction. We have some words here. When I used to have the students do their comb outs on the platform, I restricted them to 3 strokes on top, and the whole class used to chime in and count 1, 2, 3 while the student was brushing, so we had to make each stroke count. I don't mean that if another stroke or two would really make the area mirror smooth, you shouldn't take those extra strokes, but most people keep on brushing and brushing and brushing until they take out all the back combing. And do you know why? It's because they keep looking at the top of the head, where they probably can see through the top layers and see the back combing. If they would look in the mirror, instead, not only would they see all the lines beginning to develop, but they would also be able to see the customer's reaction. So that's also something that we don't get a lot of, as far as, not saying we don't get the customer's reaction, but nowadays, unless you're really doing these vintage styles and vintage techniques, is it really any sort of a problem, any sort of a real situation. We also have a little piece in here about extra hair pieces. So talking about how to attach like a little bun piece, or how to add on a ponytail, how to put that together. So very, to me, it's a very fascinating book. And there's also a, in the back here, we also have a whole mini biography of Miss Ingrid. So she's really quite a fascinating woman, and I have much desire to purchase more originals. I have a source on YouTube where I can see some copies of her, a couple of her other books that have been scanned and posted as video slideshows, and I can link to those in the description, that I really find incredibly fascinating. I would love to get my hands on more of her original publications, and perhaps put myself through the paces of the Miss Ingerid beauty school method. So like the book said, practicing for 3 hours, to read and absorb and practice until I can do 7 curls a minute, which I don't know that I can move that fast. Maybe that's a challenge I should take up, is figuring out how to get my fingers to move fast enough to whip out 7 curls a minute. I mean, that would be, you could get somebody's hair done in no time at all. So I'm still on the lookout for further copies of her publications, and I would, if I could, get every edition of the Alphabet of Curls series of books that were published by, I believe that it is published by, I think it's just Ingrid. Copyright 1962. Yeah, published by Ingrid Books. So she had her own publishing house that created these that would be given to the students. I have found a few of them online through some websites that are attached to used bookstores, and I would adore to be able to get my hands on more of her school textbooks. Would be absolutely amazing. For now, I want to thank you for joining me on this little excursion through the world of Miss Ingerid, and let me know if this is of interest, and if you want to learn more either about Miss Ingerid, or if you wanted to perhaps watch me work my way through one of these books. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.